Okay, hey everybody, my name's Rob Stevenson and this is my 1994 Audi RS2. I bought it in 2009, right when it was importable into Canada, and bought it in the States, out of the UK, and brought it over in a box, 20-foot container, and then been driving it ever since. The history of the car is that Porsche needed a little bit of work to fill in the gaps between some of their models, and they'd co-developed this car with Audi at the time. Its base is an Audi 80 wagon, and they built a lot of components and parts and systems that were designed by Porsche engineers, implemented at the Porsche factory in Zuffenhausen. So built around, I think it's 2,400 of these cars, so not very many around, all developed and built at the Zuffenhausen factory. The reason I like this car is when I was a kid, I was on a trip in Europe and I saw one of these things taking off from an intersection at full bore, and I thought that is just an amazing little rocket ship, a tiny little wagon that can beat almost anything off the line. So the infamous statement is that it was the fastest car in the world from 0 to 30 miles per hour, faster than a McLaren F1 at the time because of the Quattro and turbo system. But you really had to cane it to do that, so I don't do that. Again, in '94, Volcano black metallic, pretty much all original. One of the earlier builds, it was number 156, so built within the first couple of weeks or within the first month or so of production. Option-wise, it's got the Alcantara insert interior. Those were both options. At the time, the German market had a lot more little options that didn't really make it out onto the spec sheets that this one had a couple of. The one it didn't have was the big brake kit, which was kind of an off-sheet option that you could get, but I've since upgraded it to all those parts. So I'll give you a quick rundown of some of the Porsche-specific parts on the car. So the bolt pattern is all Porsche, the offset is Audi, so it comes with Porsche brakes. It comes with the 4-piston calipers out front from a 993 turbo, and then the rear brakes I think are off a 968 Club Sport, something similar to that, cross-drilled rotors. Let's have a look at the engine. It's got some interesting bits in there that were Porsche-specific, Porsche developed as well. So Porsche developed a lot of the components in the engine. They did a new turbo for a new intake system, new injectors. I think the MAF is also Porsche-specific. So the engineers really went to town on the base AAN or ADU engine from Audi. Lots of real bespoke parts for this car that weren't used anywhere else, but have since been used in kind of the aftermarket system to build up equivalent versions of this engine for S4s and kind of those period cars at the time. The other Porsche-specific bits, it's got the fog lights and the turn signals are off a 993, believe it or not, and so are the rear view mirrors. And then around back, there's also a specific band across the back that you probably like because it was made to emulate one of the 928 looks, as well as the 993, that heck blend across between the tail lights. So yeah, so that's a bit of a rundown of the car. Why I bought it. Don't drive it too much. It's got 120,000 K, so I like to keep the mileage low, but definitely a summer car and lots of fun.
my name is Michael. I own a 1972 BMW 3CS Coupe. I've had this since 1987. I went looking quite a while. There were more available then than there are now, so it's even harder now, but I'm happy to have found this one. It's a 3-liter engine, finished in bical blue. I think it's the most elegant and beautiful BMW ever made. Just my opinion, but I'm very happy with this. It's special because there are very few, and everyone who sees it falls in love with it. And I intend to stay in love with this car for a very long time.